participants and volunteers of this very special project. I welcome you all to this launch of Covid-Kosha, and it is very important that we take this to the stakeholders. I am very happy that this project can be of great use for researchers for COVID-19. With this, I thank you all.
The database itself was developed as a collaborative initiative between multiple organizations, the IBAD, the Bangalore Bioinnovation Center, as well as BData. Whenever such a pandemic happens, it happens so rapidly that efficient knowledge sharing is key in combating and developing strategies to address the pandemic. The Covid-Kosha is one such effort. Satish Acharya himself has really put in an enormous and led the team of people in developing this database. Currently, it has a very well curated scientific information. However, he definitely has the future plans of incorporating many other features included. This is a very novel effort, which is very useful for the state and the country to have this kind of a database. It's also very useful for all the researchers to have the information and possibly foster collaborations among them. It is very useful for the clinicians and get up-to-date information about the latest research happening in this area. It is very useful for the common people or common man to understand what others are really doing.
Covid-Kosha would not have been possible without the support of Dr. Jitendra Kumar and Professor Vasahalli Subramania and multiple organizations, especially the Department of IT, BT and ST of the Karnataka government. I must also thank Dr. Professor Vishal Rao, who recognizes the value of Covid-Kosha and has been encouraging us a lot. I would also like to thank Professor Sharat Chandra, who has always been an inspiration, and he would be launching the Covid-Kosha beta version today. I sought help from young Indian science students and professionals to work as volunteers. Many came forward. About 100 volunteers, youngsters were trained, and today there are at least 20 reliable volunteers who work for the database. They collect data from different resources and compile into the database. As a result of their effort, and of course the efforts of our core team members, both programmers and biocurators, we now have the beta version. As we need to keep up the momentum, I invite enthusiastic researchers and science students across the globe to volunteer and contribute to enhance the features of the database and the volume of the data contained. Please note that our intention is not just to make a COVID-19 database to fight against this pandemic, but rather prepare a model database that can help the world to be prepared and fight better if a new pandemic comes. We would also like to collaborate with other organizations.
The biggest problem we had was loss of common sense. And the only way to deal with loss of common sense is information, meaningful information that people are not getting. Experts, everybody went wrong categorically. And that is the signature and hallmark of the COVID-19 confusion. So what Dr. Kshitij has done by bringing this into the platform, and I very genuinely acknowledge, is you have brought in a very genuine perspective into this. Today, when I was going through this entire website part by part, I was looking at the way we simplified it using the Occam's razor principle. You have just simplified it. You have brought some very, very simple thinking into the line of misinformation. And that, I think, is a very, very genuine contribution you have done, not to this country, but to the world. And a contribution that I believe will be a gift from India to the rest of the world. And we need to maximize the outreach of this by sending this to Government of India, state governments, or even governments abroad, to tell them they should utilize this meaningfully and join hands. The first thing when I was talking to Dr. Kshitij was I was telling him that till now we were using the Lancet Resource Center. And last 1 year for us at HCG, LGVers had been our partners for academics and research to help us understand the ongoing pandemic, to collate some amount of information. They would share this information with us, which we were sharing with the government. We were doing evidence collation, and we were depending on the West. Now, true to our Prime Minister's vision of Atmanirbhar, we always felt, I wish something like this was there in India, where we can actually collate data, bring them together. And today, I'm proud to say that I'm being a small part of this contribution, by at least by being a part of the inaugural program, and that gives me a lot of immense, I would say, pleasure and pride to say that we have done this, and now what we need to do is disseminate this. Now,
We thank each jury member for the conduct and for the past 2 days. And last but not least, I thank all the biocurators and the programmer for contributing to the database. And special thanks to the members who organized the event. So once again, and thank you all. Thank you so much.